7 Safety Rules to Avoid Workplace Injury. Use the proper tool for the job. Always wear the proper for the work task. Never work on live equipment. Make sure chemicals are properly labeled and stored. Communicate safety hazards to other personnel. Stop work when needed to address hazards.
Countless Montanans do the dangerous but essential work of raising animals, growing food, and tending land. But while agriculture work is a mainstay of our state, the dangers are as clear and present as ever. Ag work is done in remote places, unsupervised and unregulated, with big demands on production and little time to train. Plus, injuries are just part of the job, right? They don't have to be. Taking a few small precautions or even just a minute to consider dangers can seem tedious, but when you consider the downtime and injuries or lives saved, it's worth it. Let's look at the most common factors behind injury and even death in ag work and some ways to reduce your risk. Advanced machinery has made many jobs more doable and on a larger scale, but it's also brought new dangers. Gruesome or even deadly kind like turnovers and getting caught in machine components. Make sure only well-trained workers are using machinery. Never remove guards from equipment. These are in place for good reason. But do remove any loose clothing you're wearing before operating equipment. And study the landscape where you'll be using the machinery. Even slight changes in terrain can make equipment hard to control. ATVs have also become indispensable and a common cause of injury in ag work. To prevent turnovers and other debilitating accidents, make sure drivers take an ATV safety course, never carry extra riders on an ATV not designed for passengers, wear a helmet, long pants, gloves, and boots, and, as with any vehicle, know both the landscape ahead and the limitations of the ATV before jumping on. Livestock are their own unpredictable threat. Animals with such an enormous weight advantage can quickly pin you against a fence, crush a foot, or throw you an impressive distance. Always be aware of your position among animals and leave yourself an out. And take extra caution when working around manure pits and ponds. Many of the daily operations on a farm require electricity, so the risk of being electrocuted is real. Take extreme caution when moving any equipment, especially taller equipment like hay or grain elevators near power lines. Be cautious in damp areas or when working with irrigation pipes. Water and electricity are a deadly combination. When using extension cords, be sure the cord is properly sized for the load and inspect the cord for any damage. And make a habit of checking wiring on tools or equipment for damage. If you see any damage, don't use it. Get it tagged for repair or replacement. Working with the many chemicals involved in ag work can lead to short or long-term harm. Never assume you know how to properly use or store chemicals. Take the 5 minutes to read the labeling and prevent a painful burn or reaction with other chemicals. And wear proper protection like safety goggles, gloves, and a respirator. If you've worked in agriculture for any length of time, you know there are plenty of other on-the-job risks. Extreme weather, long and irregular hours, remote locations. Farming and ranching are physically demanding. And chances are, you take on a wide variety of tasks in a given day. But simple and continual awareness of the dangers you'll face can go a long way to reducing your chances of injury or illness. So take the few minutes to assess the risks, check your equipment safeguards, remove simple hazards, and leave yourself an out. You'll be glad you did.
These days, accidents can happen everywhere, especially in the workplace. Whether it's the employees or even the CEO himself, no one's guaranteed safe. But rest easy. We can do something about this. For now, here's the list of the most common accidents inside the workplace.
Overexertion is an event or an exposure that leads to an injury due to excessive physical effort such as lifting, pulling, pushing, turning, wielding, holding, carrying, or throwing. It happens when a worker becomes fatigued or performs a job where the human body's capacity to complete the task was not sufficiently considered. To avoid exertion, you can do stretching or warm up, before heavy lifting or strenuous activity. Lifting with your legs bent and objects held close to your body. Avoiding bending, reaching, and twisting when lifting. And lastly is asking a friend for help when lifting.
Repetitive motion injuries occur when an action is done repeatedly. Statistically saying, 8 out of 10 individuals will suffer some form of disabling back injury during their lifetime. Examples can include bending, twisting, grasping, and reaching. Here are the ways how to prevent it. Maintaining good posture at work, taking regular breaks from long or repetitive tasks, and last, try breathing exercises.
To wrap the video, we are responsible for our personal safety. But that doesn't mean that we should ignore the possible danger that's right in front of our eyes just because it has nothing to do with us. I hope our recommendations can be a big help, especially for the workers out there. Thank you, and stay safe.